Hi everybody, this is the Baseball HUD, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the HUD, and welcome back to Baseball HUD 2. And hopefully you like this video, hit that subscribe button. You know, I have not talked about this individual before this openly, but Stephen A. Smith, I find him to not be all that smart, or that amusing, or that funny, or really brilliant at all. But the media pushes him out there. Let's run for president, Stephen A. Is there another Stephen Smith that he can't... There must be another Stephen Smith out there that's in the media or something. Or Stephen Smith and, you know, that's an actor. It's got to be. But anyway, Stephen A. Smith is not a guy I find very amusing. Nothing interests me about him. Nothing. But people just think he's the greatest. They got to run for president. Hey, Trump ran for president. I watched Stephen A. Smith go on Hannity one day, about 3-4 months ago, and Hannity asked him a very simple question. He had no idea what he was talking about. He had no idea. This guy's going to run for president? But he had something interesting, I don't even know if it was interesting, to say about Rob Manfred and Bryce Harper. I did a video on them the other day. And he's saying that Bryce Harper should be suspended. Awful Announcing says this: Stephen A. Smith calls for Rob Manfred to suspend Bryce Harper. Can't confront the commissioner like that. First of all, he didn't hurt him. He didn't hit him. There's no, physicality. Quote, that was out of line. You have no business doing something like that. To be quite honest with you, that warrants a suspension. Now, I will say this also as an aside. I'm old enough to remember the show In Living Color, and he reminds me of The Convict that Damon Wayans used to play. I don't know why, but that's who he reminds me of. I'm sorry. That's who he reminds me of. The Convict and In Living Color, where he would just talk and nothing ever made sense. Just complete total gibberish. I could see him talking like this. Bryce Harper, I mean, they should get him to read the lines from that show. And you would, and put the hat on, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between him and Damon Wayans. I'm telling you. Bryce Harper dared to confront Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred, and now Stephen A. Smith wants the Philadelphia Phillies All-Star to pay a price. Earlier this week, ESPN's Jeff Passan reported Harper told Manfred to get the F out of our clubhouse during a recent meeting with the MLB commissioner. Confrontation where Harper and Manfred reportedly stood nose to nose like an umpire match. You know, they got nose to nose. Occurred during a meeting meant to improve player relations. Well, that certainly improved it. While Passan wrote, Manfred never said salary cap during the heated discussion. That's where Harper felt the conversation was going. Okay? Fast forward to Chris Russo's What Are You Mad About segment Wednesday morning on Fast Take. And Mad Dog was half mad at Harper, but disrespecting Manfred. But just as mad was Stephen A. Smith, who believes the interaction warrants a suspension. I love Bryce Harper. I really, really do, Smith said before ripping the Phillies' first baseman. I'm not going to lie to you. You can't confront the commissioner like that and talk to him like that. You know, talk to a guy like Mo Green like that. Well, he did. We all got to remember there's so much more that goes into the world of business, negotiations, and things of that nature. It's not just one individual. And to have an authoritative figure like that be talked to like that and disrespected like that, I'm sorry. Smith went on to imagine what would have happened if a player yelled at the late David Stern during his reign in the NBA. But there's a big difference between Stern and, of course, Rob Manfred. Get into that momentarily. Times have changed, Smith acknowledged. In certain respects, it needs to go back to some of the previous days where you just know the importance of decorum and respect, particularly when you're thinking about business. All signs are currently pointing to a work stoppage after the 2026 MLB season, with Ken Rosenthal previously telling Awful Announcing there's a 90% chance of the players getting locked out. Most of the tension between the two sides stems from the owners wanting a salary cap. Well, 29 owners do. 29 owners do. And if that remains a goal, it's reasonable to expect a work stoppage with the potential for missed games. Considering everything the Players Association fought for throughout MLB's history, it's It's very hard to imagine them accepting a salary cap. There might be a better way to express that than yelling, "Get the F out of our clubhouse" at the commissioner. But that's how the players feel about any talk of a cap. And in the court of public opinion, more fans are likely to side with the union, preferring to give their money to the millionaire players they root for rather than the billionaire owners who are often perceived as being cheap. That's not true. A lot of times they'll go with the owners. I'm sorry. Totally disagree with this part of the article. They will side with the owners on this. Because some of these people will say, this guy shouldn't be getting $775 million. I mean, I had somebody write to me on Facebook complaining about Juan Soto. He can't play the field. He can't run. He can't do this. He can't do that. He doesn't deserve the $775 million. Pete Alonso should get it. I failed to mention that, Pete's 30 years old. He's older and all this other stuff. But what's different about the difference when Smith talks about David Stern and Manfred? There are a lot of strange decisions that the commissioner's office has done since Manfred has been the commissioner. One of which was the 2017 Astros situation, where they knew the players had cheated and that one player got suspended. Okay. They had all the proof on the players, and then they go to the union and say, well, can you cooperate? If you cooperate, you get immunity. And they shouldn't have done that. And there are players very bitter about this situation. And that's where a lot of this stuff stems from. Plus, there are other decisions that this current regime with the commissioner has not gone over well with the players. Okay? There is a reason why we're having this labor situation, this Armageddon, this Ragnarok coming at the end of next year. It's because a lot of it's because of Manfred. Manfred is not Bud Selig in terms of how he deals with the players. There's a major difference between the two. Okay, Bryce Harper would have never screamed at Bud Selig ever. Now Bud's not perfect. He turned a blind eye to everything that happened with the steroids, but nobody would have yelled at Selig like that. No one would have talked to Bud like that. But with Manfred, the fans don't like him, and the players don't like him. And that's why this happened, okay? It shouldn't have happened, but it happened. But he shouldn't be suspended. Nobody got hurt. And Manfred told him to go have himself back. So, it's done with, and that's it. But this is Stephen A. Smith. Nobody asked Stephen what he thought, but he put it out there anyway. He is the In Living Color host on ESPN. Antoine, what's his name? His name was Antoine, wasn't it? That's what his name was on In Living Color. It was Antoine. And of course, that was a great character. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He'd read the dictionary and he had a college degree, he said. A GED college degree. And of course, nobody knew what the hell he was talking about. He was using these big words and not using them properly. And then Stephen A. Smith, right there. Right there and then. No doubt. Don't doubt me. Well, let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to Baseball Hood too. And I'll see you later.